It's been a wild summer so far, super exciting, a lot that we've been focusing on. We just got back from Vegas at the Health 2.0 concert, where I was a part of the mental health and food discussion panel. Fantastic experience. I also was awarded Outstanding Leadership Award there, which was really nice to be recognized in my field. I also received a recent honoree in the 2023 Global Kriya Award by Brains Magazine. So that's been exciting to hear. It's been a really wild ride these past couple of weeks. We've also been focusing on offering and providing couples retreats to recent clients, and that's just been absolutely fun. Just so adventurous and exciting and fulfilling for us as providers of the retreat to see the growth and the process of our clients. Yeah. So today we're talking about food as medicine, which is actually one of the panel discussions that I jumped into in the health conference. And it was incredibly thrilling to be working with and discussing with a multidisciplinary team of providers on the panel about food as medicine, food environments, and what impacts those environments. So today we're going to be diving into the role that food plays in mental health and what some specific recommendations are for people to take home and hopefully encourage a healthier food environment for themselves. So before we had pharmacies, hospitals, formal doctors' offices, we had food. Food was our medicine, and for holistic practitioners today, we still integrate these holistic approaches. We're going to be talking about food as medicine as it relates to mental health. Nutritional deficiencies are linked to mental health disorders, and it's really critical for providers, clinical providers, to work together for continuity of care on behalf of every client so that we don't miss these deficiencies, because it really is easy to miss. We go through as clients and we get annual blood work done maybe every 6 months or every year, and we come back with, maybe low vitamin D levels. And if it's not marked at the red level in your blood work, it's kind of just bypassed in terms of attention. And that's such a shame, because it's something that is really critical, and we'll talk about why. So we want for those numbers and those deficiencies to be communicated between providers so that we can come together systemically as a team to support the client and prevent health issues from escalating early on. When I have a new client who's presenting with mental health issues who hasn't had blood work run, I offer them a list of recommendations or recommended labs to bring to their medical doctor so that they can discuss with their medical doctor what seems most appropriate. We then can assess the lab results together as a team, and how the deficiencies might be impacting their mood state and what to do about that. If you're listening to this podcast and your labs are in hand, please keep in mind that the medical field is still stuck in a functioning mentality, whereas the wellness field or our clinical field operates on a more optimizing mentality. Those are different. When we look at the labs, they are read differently. That means that when you see a blood work, it's created, the range or the visual charts are created using average numbers taken by the general population or by what your body needs to just function, meaning just to move and be performing at a basic level, not performing optimally in the way that you absolutely want it to, or feeling good, feeling healthy. That would be in alignment with optimal mentality or optimal functioning. So you can be in the yellow area just above the red marker and not have it flag in your blood work, but it still be presenting with and causing you disruption in your daily life and presenting with pretty significant side effects. Being on the lower end of the lab may not flag you as deficient in the medical system, but your body and mind can still be suffering from significant symptoms, which is where we come in to try and flag those in our clinical care and help you understand those low levels and what to do about them. All right, so here are some nutritional associations with mental health. We're going to go through ADHD, anxiety, depression, and bipolar disorder because those are the predominant presentations that I see in my clinical practice. If you have something other than those, that's okay. I'm happy to meet with you and know that those, there's a lot more presentations that can be attended to. I'm just going to give these as examples. All right, so ADHD is scientifically linked to deficiencies in iron, vitamin D, omega-3 and 6, magnesium, and zinc. Anxiety can develop from the following nutritional issues: magnesium and zinc, as well as having low levels of choline and selenium, which is a mineral, iron or vitamin D, vitamin B, fully in particular, which is a huge mood stabilizer and is known to precipitate anxiety and depression if it gets too low. Vitamin Bs in general, like all the vitamin Bs, help to regulate the nervous system and circulatory system, which is why a lot of holistic providers recommend taking a B vitamin complex, meaning like a complex or a supplement that has all the B vitamins in it at once, because it helps your whole nervous and circulatory system at once. Depression has also been linked to studies Depression has been linked in studies to subjects with vitamin B12 and B6 deficiency, where they were 2 times as likely to be severely depressed with those deficiency levels of B12 and B6. So something to look out for in your blood work. Low vitamin C, selenium, and iron levels are also associated with depression. Thiamine, or B1, cannot be made on its own in the body, and it is critical for the nervous system to function. B1 or thiamine deficiencies are often a catalyst for postpartum depression. So for that vulnerable demographic, we want to make sure that we're looking at blood work, and maybe we're even giving new moms or pre-delivering moms this supplement as a proactive measure to prevent or ameliorate risks of postpartum depression. CoQ10 can also be taken or consumed to combat the low energy levels or fatigue levels of depression. And lastly, as it pertains to bipolar disorder, a cross-sectional study from NIH identified that bipolar disorder is linked to deficiencies in omega-3s, vitamin B, choline, L-tryptophan, which is an amino acid. Bipolar disorder is also linked to excessive amounts of metal within the body. Metal requires extraction from cells for our body to be able to excrete the toxin out. It cannot do it on its own without a source of extraction. Antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress in the body help to naturally extract metals and toxins so that you're able to then flush them out of the system. Without those antioxidants or without a specific extraction compound, you would just generally remain or maintain those levels of metal in your cells, which would build over time and amplify the presentation or the severity of those mood disorders. Okay, so when I'm talking with new clients or when I'm getting interviewed, probably one of the most common one of the most common questions that I receive is, what is your recommendation? Like your most common recommendation for people? My most common recommendation, it's hard because everybody's body is different and everyone's needs are different. So I'm going to give the general recommendation, and I hope that it's still helpful. This would be with the intention and purpose to stabilize moods, right? So with the intention to stabilize mood, my common recommendation for the general public would be a good quality omega complex. I personally like Carlson or Nordic natural companies. I think those two companies, those two brands, and I'm totally separate from them. There's no kickback for me. Those two brands are third-party tested, really fantastic. So a really good omega complex, a vitamin D supplement, because the majority of our population is deficient in vitamin D, and it really, really impacts mood. And a methylated B complex. So when I just listed out bipolar disorder, ADHD, anxiety, depression, all of those had like interwoven vitamin B deficiencies of some sort. So it's really important to integrate B vitamins of many forms into your diet because it's so heavily focused on mood stabilization. Human, which is a company, so Human regularly spelled with an extra N at the end, is a great company that offers a meltable tablet that tastes a little bit like cotton candy. I like it. I take it. It's fantastic. Again, no kickback for me. Just highly recommending. So if you're going to take a methylated B complex, that's one that I recommend. So vitamin D, B complex, and omega complex, as well as a really good probiotic to support your microbiome, because that's where a lot of our neurotransmitters are produced, right? 80% of our serotonin is made in the gut, not in the brain. So when we're talking about mood stabilization, your gut health is absolutely important. This ensures that your gut lining is not permeable and that everything remains balanced with the bugs in your gut to be able to process and absorb the nutrients that you put in. Doesn't really help if you're putting in good things, but your body doesn't have the means or the ability to absorb it, and you're just processing it back out. So we can supply you with the highest quality supplements at the market, but it's not helpful if you have an extreme microbiome imbalance, right? So consider all of those things. If you're taking too many pills and you just can't anymore, pre and probiotics come in so many different forms that are non-pill based, right? So fermented foods, kombucha, kimchi, kefir, yogurt, good quality fermented vegetables like pickles or jalapenos, sauerkraut, and fiber is the food for your good bugs. So fiber is prebiotic, right? Prebiotic is the food for your probiotics. Think about it that way. So if you're going to do anything and you can't do any of the pills, the supplements that I just mentioned above, just focus on pre and probiotics to get your system balanced. All right, where can you get these supplements or foods if you know that you're lacking? You can find them everywhere. I know it's a little hard as a consumer because you're inundated with so much information, and supplements in particular are not regulated by the FDA. So it's hard to find good quality because the labels are not always truthful. You can't trust what's on the labels for herbal supplementation. And that's a little scary as a consumer. I validate that 100%. So that's why we're here, right? As providers, that's our job, to tell you and guide you to trusted, secured brands, supplements, and dosages. That's for us to teach. If you aren't sure and don't have time to thoroughly research your sources, just reach out to us. Reach out to your trusted naturopathic doctor or integrative medicine specialist for mental health. We have all that information and we want you to be happy and healthy. We're happy to share with you. You can get these nutrients from foods found at your local grocery store or market as well. Okay, so bipolar disorder. If you have bipolar disorder and you're trying to naturally treat it, or in conjunction with your medication regimen, you're trying to assist, you are looking to integrate pomegranates, tomatoes, potatoes, citrus fruits, leafy greens, blueberries, chaga mushrooms, and chia seeds. If you have brain fog, you're looking to integrate beets or turmeric. Turmeric has the constituent of curcumin, which is really important for anti-inflammation, right, of the brain. Anxiety. If you have anxiety, you're looking to integrate vinegars, bone broths, organic high-quality meat, oatmeal, celery, fermented foods that I just mentioned a few moments ago for the pre and probiotics. If you have ADHD, you're looking to integrate a heavy protein and fat diet. So think about keto or Atkins diets, right? A heavy mega dose of krill oil or fish oil. I say krill oil just because it has a longer shelf life than fish oil. We want to make sure that fish oils or krill oils do not go rancid. If you smell the container and it smells extremely like fish to where you go, ooh, yuck, it's not a good bottle. You need to throw it out. Ideally, you're ordering a bottle. It smells fresh. When you smell it, you stick it and keep it in the refrigerator, because these are omega-3 and omega-6 supplements that can go rancid and go bad and not give you the same benefits, right? So, sorry, that was a tangent. Heavy dose of krill or fish oil for ADHD. For depression, oysters, mussels, lean organ meats, leafy greens, peppers, cruciferous veggies like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts. If you are low in iron, you can take dehydrated beef liver capsules, spirulina, dark chocolate, which should be 70% or higher, cacao, right? Spinach, sardines, pistachios, raisins. If you are low in magnesium, you can take spinach, chard, pumpkin seeds, almonds, avocados, legumes, dark chocolate, again, 70% or higher, cacao, bananas, or any kind of topical magnesium lotion, because 70% of what we put on our skin is absorbed transdermally. Okay, or magnesium, you can also do Epsom salt baths, which are fantastic. So you want to take a warm or a hot bath, and with a cup of Epsom salts, maybe a little bit of baking soda to balance pH if you'd like, maybe some essential oils, 10 to 15 drops of your favorite essential oil, and soak in there for about 20 minutes. It's lovely. Okay, zinc. If you're low in zinc, you can take oysters, grass-fed beef, cashews, mushrooms, spinach. If you're low in choline or vitamin B, you can take egg yolk, wheat germ, codfish, green leafy vegetables, and beans. If you're low in vitamin D is fat soluble. So if you're taking a supplement of vitamin D, you need to be consuming it with some kind of food, not just water on an empty stomach. It's not going to be bioavailable in that way. Or we all have receptor cells in our skin. Okay, so you can simply go outside and let your body soak it up from the sun. It doesn't have to be a long soak. You don't need to get tan in order for vitamin D to be absorbed. Anything that you recommend avoiding? Definitely. Any kind of added or unnatural sugars we want to stay away from. Refined grains like white bread, we love so much in the US, but it causes so much inflammation in our bodies because in the Industrial Revolution, we changed the chemical compounds in order to mass produce so that we could send it overseas and it would last by the time that it made it overseas. In that process of changing the food compounds to make it last longer, we changed it slightly so that our bodies are having difficulty recognizing the chemical compound. Some of our bodies are now starting to see these refined grains when we consume them as foreign bodies, and we're now attacking ourselves, right? So think about it as like a virus. We ingest something, our white blood cells now see it as a foreign body, similarly to how our white blood cells see or recognize like a virus in our body, and it kind of attacks to prevent us getting sick or us, feeling ill. So that's essentially what's happening. we want to be mindful of anything that is causing inflammation in our body. Long-term inflammation is the silent killer of mental health, and we'll talk about why. So alcohol or excess caffeine, we want to be mindful of moderation. Just keep it in moderation, especially alcohol, because it does disrupt your sleep. And sleep is necessary for regeneration, for replenishment of your hormones and neurotransmitters, just really anything. You absolutely need good and solid sleep for your body to rejuvenate on a regular basis. How does intermittent fasting impact emotions? Short-term, intermittent fasting of any kind can create dips in blood sugar, which impact cortisol levels and creates some mood shifts like irritability, which can negatively impact our relationships in those moments of irritability. So it's something to be mindful of, certainly. On the other hand, if we have any chronic issue like type 2 diabetes from some of these blood sugar problems, right? Type 2 diabetes is shown to have a 2 to 3 times higher risk of anxiety or depression. So intermittent fasting can really assist in warding off or preventing some of these larger disorders, like health disorders that increase rates and risk of anxiety or depression. Fasting allows our bodies to direct energy away from metabolism of food and toward other necessary processes like regeneration of new cells, detoxification within the body, being able to manage stress levels and improve your body recovery times. A study in nutrition research found that intermittent fasting decreases general inflammation in the body, and chronic inflammation has been linked to brain disorders, including depression, bipolar disorder, OCD, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's disease, right? So if we're going to take away anything from today's discussion, let it be that for general physical and psychological health, and therefore relational health, we need to reduce inflammation by all means. Okay, so last bit of information is my thoughts on the current medical system. As a whole, I have so much appreciation for our medical system. I think it plays a critical role in our community's health and wellness journey. And as an integrative medicine specialist for mental health and holistic healthcare that I offer, I have so much love and so much compassion for the other providers that I work in conjunction with. I also think there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the preventative care, because I think our current system is so geared to prioritize crisis management, right? When we really need to be scaffolding lifestyle supports and working with, a multidisciplinary approach of providers to treat early stages of disease and to catch early stages of disease in a non-invasive way to encourage long-term quality of life and quality of health for every single client. And that's really hard to do in the current medical system when even our blood work is not flagging like critical deficiency levels until we are at the later stages of disease, right? So the purpose of our current medical system, I think we need to shift the intention and the purpose so that it allows for preventative medicine and treatment. It's a really tough place for medical doctors to be in right now, where they feel like their hands are tied. Acute cases, when invasive treatment is really the only option left, I feel really grateful for our current healthcare system, and it's exactly what we need for the late stage disorders that are present here today, because not all countries have access to what we have access to. For the non-acute cases, for the clients that come to me and have been feeling just kind of gray and blah, and like their bodies are not their own for the last 5-10 years, but they're not in the hospital every day. Those are the cases that I feel like are slipping under the rug and do require just as much attention and care. And I hope that we can shift to that over the next decade or so. So those are my thoughts on the holistic mental health system and food as medicine. I hope that it was helpful for all of you today. I hope you're gaining some valuable insight that you can take away and integrate into your own home. If you have any questions, any concerns, please feel free to reach out. We can be reached at bathurstfamilytherapy.com or at 215-501-7452. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube at dr.stephanie.bathurst. If you're interested in taking a free relationship energy quiz, you can do so at myflowtypes.com. Thanks so much, and we'll talk soon.